I remember the first time I met Mickey. There was a lot of pressure for it to go well because Mickey was my brand new boyfriend, Avi's best friend. But even Avi hadn't sold me on Mickey quite yet. He would say things like, he can come off as kind of an asshole, but he's a sweetheart, I promise. Or, hey, we'll learn to like you eventually. But would he learn to like me, or would he rip me apart? When it was finally time for introductions, I walked in and gave an awkward wave, but he ignored me. So I got closer to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Lisa. He stared at me dead in the eye and responded, "Rock, Mickerbird, rock, Mickerbird." See, Mickey was Avi's pet bird, an African gray parrot, and for those of you who know, they become tightly bonded to their owner. Which is more than I could say for myself and Avi at the time. See, we'd been together about a month, but even on our first date, it was pretty clear we didn't have a lot in common. He was an avid outdoorsman, happy to go into the woods for days or weeks at a time. I had been to the woods before. He was incredibly sentimental, collecting pictures and tchotchkes from his childhood, his family, his past relationships. I was cutthroat with my keepsakes. And he wanted to be married and have kids yesterday. I wasn't even sure if motherhood was for me. But he was single and Jewish, and I was fast approaching my best if used by date. So I decided that if a lack of compatibility wasn't going to thwart my effort to lock that one down, then an overly enmeshed relationship with his pet bird wouldn't either. But Mickey wasn't just an ordinary pet. African greys have a beak that can crush bone. They have the intelligence of a toddler, and they have the life expectancy of a baby boomer. And this little asshole was 13. We had a long road ahead of us. But he wasn't just vicious and immortal. He was jealous and filthy. Whenever I would snuggle up to my new boyfriend, he would cause a disruption, flapping his wings or reciting commercial lines that he remembered. Hump day. Or the Nokia sound. And his shit was everywhere. When he shit, it would squirt through the bars of his bird cage onto the carpet, where it too would stay for days, if not weeks, at a time. Life with Mickey was untenable, but I was determined to make this relationship work. He always had top billing in Avi's heart, but I was a fighter. Something had to give. A few months later, I was awakened by my phone ringing. I could tell even without my glasses on that it was Avi. Hey, Mickey died. I was still half asleep and positive that I had heard that wrong. Huh? Mickey, he died. What? Lisa, Mickey is dead. Really? Well, that was the best news that I had heard in a really long time. Hope washed over my body. There was a future for us. A future where I wouldn't worry about the children I wasn't sure I wanted, having their tiny little fingers eaten off by their pet bird. A future where I wouldn't have to clean bird shit off the carpet and the kitchen floor and the windowsill. A future where my biggest bully wouldn't be a 10-inch tall avian asshole. Yes! The last barrier to my lifetime of settling was gone. I just had to hide it until the end of the day. When I arrived at Avi's apartment, the first thing I noticed was how quiet it was. There was no flapping, no chirping, no squawking. It was wonderful. But then I saw Avi sitting on the steps, still in his work clothes. He was wrapped in this deep, deep sorrow. He pointed at the cage where his young, dead bird was wrapped in the nice towel. Really, Avi? The nice towel. He looked at me with tears running down his cheeks and said, Lisa, I want to have him cremated. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I don't have a lot of experience with birds, and granted, you can't exactly flush a parrot, but cremation? Sure. Is that something that we can do? It was something that we could do, and apparently Mickey's vet was going to be the one to do it. Avi's father came over to drive the mourner to this last, most important service. So Avi sat in the front seat next to his father, and I wrapped my hand around to hold his in comfort and texted my friends with the other, woo-wee, Mickey's shitting on the carpets of heaven. Drinks tomorrow? I put on my game face and we walked into the vet. My boyfriend handed over his best friend and the nice towel. He hugged the vet and said tearfully, earnestly, take good care of him. What the actual fuck did that mean? The bird was dead. She had one job: take the bird, burn the bird, sweep the bird into the box, hand the box back to my boyfriend, and we could live a happy life together forever or not. What was this? We were not compatible, far more than I was willing to admit for far too long. That glimmer of hope that I had held on to since the beginning of the day was fading fast. And I realized in that moment that, like Mickey, our relationship would soon go up in smoke.
Take your ass to the floor, shake your tail, fella. Girl, go on, take it low.